Hello epic viewers from around the multiverse, prepare to indulge in experiencing sheer bliss, because today another riveting cat-fitting stellar video is about to transpire. What will this video entail, you may ask? Without further delay, without further procrastination, allow me to apprise you of the answer to that inquiry right here, right now. Today I'm going to be reviewing the DC Universe Classics action figure line. Do I believe that the DC Universe Classics action figure line is a paradigm of perfection? Do I believe that the DCUC action figure line is an embodiment of every sound perfection? Do I believe that the line is an epitome of perfection? Well, I believe that the DC Universe Classics action figures have tremendous merit, and if you can procure them for under $10 each, you can't go wrong. Now, the figurines, such as this variant of Batman, have tremendous merit in nearly every facet. They have ample points of articulation. They typically have a diaphragm joint. In conjunction with having a diaphragm joint, they typically adorn stellar cosmetics. As you can see, this figurine captures the appearance of Batman. He truly emulates Batman in nearly every facet. He possesses ample points of articulation, just like his other DC Universe Classics action figure counterparts. Unfortunately, his knees are not double jointed, nor are his elbows. He can rotate his forearms, he can rotate his biceps, he could ascend and descend his feet, he can move his legs outwards and inwards, and when you inspect other DC Universe Classics action figures, you can see that they have similar functionalities, they have similar capabilities. They typically come bundled with an accessory or a multitude of accessories. I procure them used via eBay. I'm trying to obtain them for under $10 each, which is an arduous feat to accomplish, and it could be nearly impossible because you're at the mercy of the premium prices that third-party sellers command. As you can see, they have similar sculpts. However, their aesthetics, shadings, and facial expressions are disparate from one another. You can place them in nearly any dynamic pose that you see fit. Now, most of them have fisted hands. If they lack a fisted hand, then their other hand will typically be a hand where the fingers are semi-clenched together, so you can wield a weapon in that hand, because there's an aperture through the fingers that enables you to utilize and equip weapons on your characters. Now, of course, you can see we have a DC Direct figure here, and it's not as robust or intricate, or novel, I should say, as a DC Universe Classics action figure. It lacks two peg holes. In stark contrast to a DC Universe Classics action figure, it lacks a diaphragm joint. His cape is relatively meager, and his details don't seem to be as intricate as a DC Universe Classics action figure. Here's John Hex. I mean, just compare them to the DC Direct figurines. They're just superior in every facet. I mean, that's my humble, subjective opinion, but I'm sure your opinion is akin to mine in that regard. There's a Flash. I love these figurines. I just can't get enough of them. Now, my only gripe appertaining to the figurines is that they lack finger joint articulation. Their knees and elbows are not double jointed, but in terms of overall quality, they are just stupendous, and they're breathtaking. I love taking a gander at them every day. You can place them into nearly any dynamic pose that you can conceive. So, the epicness of these figurines is just ineffable, and who wouldn't want to possess all the DC Universe Classics action figures? In my opinion, it's a quintessential action figure line of DC Universe characters. They typically stand 6 inches tall, so they scale eminently well with a Marvel Legends action figure collection. They're part of a 6-inch line. We have the Gentleman Ghost. We have these translucent or transparent calves and feet, and his cape is a bit transparent as well on the bottom. But I don't mind the fact that they reused the same sculpt for most of these figurines, because it's a high quality sculpt that works, and these figurines have tremendous latitude for articulation. So the main reason why I love the DC Universe Classics figurines, and the main reason why I'd rate them a 9 out of 10 for... Actually, I revoked my previous statement. The main reason I rate them 9.5 out of 10 for under $10 each is because they have ample points for articulation. They truly embody the DC Universe characters, their details, their muscle tones, their points of articulation, their shadings, their textures are just high quality. These figurines are of high caliber. The epicness of these figurines is just ineffable. Words cannot do justice to how epic these figurines are. Let me revamp that. Words cannot do justice to elucidate how epic these figurines are in every facet. Why 9.5 out of 10? Well, sometimes their fingers are a bit awkwardly posed. So they're close to perfection, but there's still room for improvement. And sometimes their articulation is encumbered by their accessories or by their wardrobes. But if you bought them new, then I would rate them a 10 out of 10 as opposed to a 9 out of 10, because if you buy them used, you typically don't get their corresponding accessories. However, if you buy them new, you get their corresponding accessories in conjunction with a piece for a deluxe Build-A-Figure. And if you collect all the appendages, if you collect all the limbs and all the body parts of the deluxe Build-A-Figure, then you can assemble an extraordinary Build-A-Figure, so you get more value for your money. So if you get them used, they may be 9 out of 10 because they may be marred with scuffs, their joints may be a bit loose. But if you get them new, you get the Build-A-Figure piece, and you get a figurine in mint condition that's unscathed with all this corresponding accessories. So 9 out of 10 if they're used, 10 out of 10 if they're new. That's my final verdict. That's my opinion in the form of a quantitative score. So to give you a synopsis once more, these figurines are just robust, stellar, intricate, state-of-the-art, and are meritorious. The Four Horsemen Studios unequivocally deserves their accolades for sculpting such magnificent figurines. I love the Marvel Legends figurines that they sculpted. I love the DC Universe Classics action figures they sculpted. I love the Masters of the Universe action figures they sculpted back in the early 21st century, so kudos to them. They definitely led Mattel in the right direction. They definitely led ToyBiz in the right direction before ToyBiz became defunct. It's too bad that Mattel was no longer contracted with them to produce DC action figures, but maybe in the future they'll be able to sculpt more DC action figures and more Marvel Legends. Who knows? The future is enigmatic. The future is precarious. The future is unforeseeable. So here are some of them once more. And you just can't go wrong procuring DC Universe Classics action figures. Here's Catman. And you can see that sculpts and molds are reused, but I mean, it doesn't matter. They use aesthetics, accessories. They're changed from figure to figure. Each figure is not homogeneous or a carbon copy of its predecessor. These figurines are the quintessential DC Universe class. These figurines are the quintessential DC figurines. I don't know which figurine is a quintessential DC Universe Classics action figure. Some people believe John Hex is, and other people will contend that Hawkman is, but it's all contingent on what you love. I mean, I really want the Ares figurine. He looks amazing. But, I mean, it's arduous to rank them by superiority. I mean, which figurines take precedence over the others in the context of quality? Which figurines supersede the others? I made a blunder. I meant to say which figurines take precedence in terms of if they should be displayed on the shelf, and which figurines trump other figurines in quality is subjective and enigmatic. It's an enigma, because everyone's ranking list will be disparate from their counterparts. So I can't complain. I don't have any gripes about these figurines. 10 out of 10 if you buy them new, 9 out of 10 if you buy them used. That's my final quantitative score, that's my final verdict, and that's my little synopsis about what I think about the DC Universe Classics action figures. They have stellar sculpts, they have stellar paint applications, they have stellar details. I love them down to the nitty-gritty details. They have stellar shadings, they have stellar textures, they have unprecedented deco. Their accessories are robust, and they come with a build-a-figure piece if you procure them new, so you just can't go wrong procuring a DC Universe Classics action figure new. So if you stumble upon them for under $10 each, pick them up. If you see them new for $15 or less on eBay, then pick them up. They're becoming more scarce, they're appreciating. But just be worried that if you purchase them used, the integrity of the joints may have been compromised, and they may be devoid of their innate default accessories, so there are ramifications associated with purchasing them used, but that doesn't mean that they should be relegated to the trash that they're used. I mean, they still merit on a shelf and for stop motion videos, so these figurines are pragmatic. You can utilize them multiple ways. Every time you look at them, they may render you jubilant, buoyant, or opulent, or content, or gratified, and you could also feature them in stop motion videos where you create your own storylines and your own narratives and your own plots and your own scenarios of characters engaging against other heroes or villains and battles. So they're just valuable. They have intrinsic value and extrinsic value. They'll likely appreciate, and they'll likely be more desirable, and if you yearn to possess them, then I recommend and advocate procuring them via Amazon or eBay. It's up to you, or perhaps you can scour Craigslist to see if you can find a local deal, but I haven't dealt with Craigslist, nor will I probably ever, so eBay may be your best bet. Amazon is not an abysmal option either, so choose wisely. I hope that you deemed this video to be fascinating. I'm curious about your sentiments appertaining to the DC Universe Classics action figures. They're not bad by any means, and maybe in the future you'll purchase them. And if you do, then just let me know, because I'm curious which ones you're collecting. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Goodbye.